Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
In Port Charles, nothing was ever simple. Love, trust, and loyalty often collided with lies, revenge, and secrets that refused to remain buried. For Drew Cain, a man whose life had been defined by survival, identity, and loyalty to family, the latest revelation about the shooting that had upended his life was more than shocking. It was a catalyst that would change everything. Spoilers reveal that Drew has officially divorced Willow after the truth about who shot him finally came to light. The confirmation of the shooter's identity shattered illusions, betrayed trust, and left Drew facing a future filled with doubt, pain, and the bitter taste of deception. The shocking revelation. The truth about the shooting had lingered like a storm cloud over Drew's life for weeks. Every question unanswered, every suspicion growing, until finally the moment arrived, the moment that stripped away illusions and revealed the raw, undeniable reality. The revelation was confirmed, the person responsible for Drew's near-fatal shooting was known, and it was someone Willow had trusted, someone whose presence in her life had seemed harmless, even comforting. The emotional fallout was immediate. Drew felt betrayed. Not just by the shooter, but by Willow herself. Even if she had no hand in the act, her proximity, her choices, and her alliances became a painful reminder of fractured trust. A divorce for the ages. Divorce in Port Charles was rarely just a legal proceeding. It was a spectacle, a battlefield, and a deeply personal reckoning all at once. Drew's decision to end his marriage with Willow was born not only of heartbreak but also of necessity. He sat across from her in the small, sterile office of a local attorney, the air thick with tension and unspoken emotions. "I can't do this anymore," he said, his voice steady but heavy. "I can't look at you and pretend everything is okay when it isn't. When the truth is out, nothing can be the same." Willow tried to respond, to explain, to plead, but the dam of trust had already broken. Words felt inadequate. Emotions, raw and untamed, surged between them, but Drew's mind was made up. "You'll always be important to me," he continued, his eyes hardening, "but this marriage, it's over. We can't move forward. We can't rebuild what's been destroyed." The interior turmoil of Drew Cain. Drew's life had been marked by deception and identity crises for as long as he could remember. Adopted into the Cain family, he had spent years unraveling secrets, facing enemies, and confronting truths that no one else could imagine. The shooting was more than an act of violence, it was a reminder of the fragility of trust in a city built on lies. Every ally could be a foe, every smile a mask hiding ulterior motives. For Drew, Willow's proximity to the chaos had become unbearable. He remembered the nights spent recovering in the hospital, the lingering pain, the fear that had gripped him as the bullets tore through flesh and shattered confidence. And now, with the shooter revealed, the betrayal was personal, intimate, and devastating. Willow's struggle and regret. For Willow, the revelation was a shock of its own. She had believed in transparency, honesty, and loyalty. She had tried to protect Drew, to support him, to navigate the treacherous waters of Port Charles as best she could. But the truth had a way of cutting deeper than intentions. She had failed. Not in the way she had wanted, not in the ways that mattered most. Drew's heartbreak was mirrored in her own, a reflection of guilt, remorse, and helplessness. She knew she had to accept responsibility for the consequences of association, for the perception of her involvement, and for the emotional chasm that now separated them. The aftermath, friends, family, and foes take notice. Word spread quickly in Port Charles. Friends, family, and allies all weighed in, offering comfort, criticism, and speculation. At the Quartermain mansion, Tracy and Ned spoke in hushed tones about the latest disaster to strike their friends. "Drew's always been loyal," Tracy remarked, pacing the kitchen. "But trust is fragile. Once it's gone, you can't just patch it up with a hug or a smile." Ned nodded gravely. "I just hope Willow understands the magnitude of this. He's not just reacting, he's protecting himself, his heart, and what little peace he has left." Meanwhile, at the hospital, Emma and Felicia tried to mediate, to offer guidance, and to remind everyone that love, even when fractured, required understanding and patience. But in the wake of betrayal, even the most encouraging words seemed to fall short. Only threats and confrontations. Port Charles was not a city where grievances were left unchallenged. In the wake of the shooting's revelation, emotions boiled over. Drew's anger was palpable. He didn't just feel hurt, he felt that justice had been denied, that the person responsible for his near death had evaded accountability until now. "I will not let this go," Drew muttered to himself as he stared at the hospital walls. "They think they can hide, manipulate, and control outcomes, but they're wrong. I survived once, I'll survive again, and I won't forget." The warning was clear, Drew was not a man to be trifled with. Friends and foes alike would soon learn that anger could be as protective as it was destructive, and Drew was prepared to wield both with precision. The path forward, healing or further chaos? Even as divorce proceedings moved forward, Drew faced an uncertain future. His heart, battered and weary, required time to heal. His relationships, with Willow, with family, with allies, would never be the same. Yet there was a silver lining, faint but present. This moment, painful as it was, offered clarity. Drew no longer had to navigate murky waters blindly. The truth had been revealed, and with it came the opportunity to redefine boundaries, to assert agency, and to reclaim control over his life. Willow, too, faced a crossroads. She could allow regret and shame to consume her, or she could learn from the turmoil, rebuild her integrity, and work toward redemption. Port Charles was a city of second chances, after all, but only for those willing to confront the consequences of their choices. Side stories and ripple effects. As Drew and Willow dealt with the immediate fallout, their story rippled across Port Charles, affecting friends and allies in unexpected ways. Gio and Dante, ever entangled in moral quandaries, found themselves reflecting on loyalty and the consequences of hidden truths. Emma and Felicia wrestled with how best to support friends caught in emotional turbulence while avoiding complicity. The shooter, now exposed, faced the looming specter of justice and accountability, aware that Drew's wrath and determination could alter the balance of power in unexpected ways. Each interaction was layered with tension, uncertainty, and the constant interplay of encouragement, anger, and the desperate desire for resolution. Themes of betrayal, truth, and redemption. In true GH fashion, Drew's divorce was not just a legal matter, it was a moral crucible. Betrayal, trust had been shattered, revealing vulnerabilities that Drew could no longer ignore. Truth, the confirmation of the shooter's identity forced confrontation with reality, stripping away illusions and demanding accountability. Redemption, both Drew and Willow were left with choices, how to rebuild, whether to forgive, and how to move forward in a city where secrets rarely remain buried. These themes intertwined, creating a narrative rich with emotional resonance, tension, and the promise of future conflict. The baptism of fire. In the aftermath of betrayal, there is a metaphorical baptism, a trial by fire that purifies, reshapes, and hardens. Drew Kane's divorce was precisely such a baptism. He emerged more aware of his own boundaries. He recognized the limits of forgiveness. He embraced the truth, no matter how painful. This baptism was both painful and transformative, ensuring that Drew would not repeat the mistakes of the past, and that Willow, too, would confront her own role in the unraveling of trust. Looking ahead. As Port Charles continues to spin its web of secrets, lies, and shifting alliances, Drew Kane's story remains a testament to the delicate balance of love, loyalty, and justice. The fallout from the shooting, the confirmation of the culprit, and the subsequent divorce are far from over. Every decision, every confrontation, and every whispered threat carries consequences that will echo through the lives of all involved. And in this city, where history repeats and second chances are always conditional, Drew's journey is far from complete. Drew Kane will take the stage in Willow Tate Kane's trial and swear, from the sounds of it, he'll identify his shooter in court. During the Daily General Hospital promo, there's a clip of Drew on the stage as ADA Justine Turner states, "Congressman Kane, do you know who shot you?" Drew looks confident as he's about to speak, and a clip of Willow and Alexis looking stupefied is also shown. There's a lot to unpack, So let's launch by rewinding a bit to some scenes that took place during the week of December 8th to 12th. Drew and Willow gathered at Alexa's place to talk about the trial. This is when Drew reported the night of his firing, which is when he recalled commodity that happened. Well, technically, he flashed back nothing of value, but he couldn't shake the idea that he flashed back commodity significant. This led to massive enterprise and buzz online from GH suckers. Will Drew flash back who shot him? The look on Drew's face in the exercise, his brassy smile, seems to indicate that he's about to drop a massive stunner, so what will Drew say? Will he reveal the name of his shooter? There's a good chance that Drew could flash back commodity in the days ahead, or commodity could spark a memory in the moments leading up to his evidence, where he wouldn't be suitable to tell either Willow or Alexis beforehand. Could he have a quick update converse with Kai Taylor before stepping into the courtroom, that sparks Drew's recall about his adjunct and Trina Robinson being in the room after he was shot? He'd love to nail Curtis Ashford to the wall with that courtroom stunner. Also again, Drew's target has always been Michael Corinthos, and GH observers can't shake that Michael has not been honest about his whereabouts the night of Drew's firing. It's doubtful that Michael shot Drew, still, he may have been in the house or knows who did and is covering up for them. There's been some enterprise that Scout Quartermain shot her pater. And Michael's mysterious conduct are linked to covering for the little girl. Dante Falconeri did note last week that Michael's cell content indicated he was in the vicinity of Drew's home during the firing, but that's clearly not enough substantiation to haul him in. Drew's been adamant that Willow didn't shoot him, but what if he has a memory that proves else this week? Would he continue to cover his woman? If he realized she shot him, or would he back off and throw her under the machine? Hopping on the stage and revealing that Willow shot him would be shocking on all accounts. Also again, maybe Drew remembers someone additional entirely. Anything is possible in the land of soaps. At the sanitarium, Britt brazened Emma and asked about Rocco Falconeri, but Emma indicted her of faking concern for Rocco and walked down. Latterly, Emma approached Felicia Scorpio for advice on how to help Gio Palmieri after his argument with Dante Falconeri. Felicia had preliminarily helped another father/son brace, Max Scorpio, and Cody Bell, to attune when they weren't on speaking terms. Felicia participated that she helped Mac and Cody realize their love for each other, and Emma responded that she allowed. Dante and Gio wanted a relationship, indeed if they wouldn't admit it. When Felicia advised Emma to find a participated interest to bring them together, Emma smiled, understanding how she could help unite them. Ned and Brooke Lynn bring Tracy up to speed after her long gym holiday. Tracy set about from Ned and Brooke Lynn that her son had a heart attack while she was down. Although she was hurt that they kept it from her to help her from rushing home, Tracy understood Ned's logic. He didn't want her to argue with Olivia Quartermain during a stressful time. She joked with her son that he couldn't die before her, and Ned assured her he wasn't going anywhere soon and would change his life. Gio brought fresh yield from the request, and Ned felt anxious as his family floated over him while he ate an omelet. Tracy took Ned upstairs for his nap, also thanked Brooke Lynn and Gio for minding for Ned and expressed her happiness at seeing them bond. Dante and Rocco disaccorded over Gio. Dante intended to take Rocco to the courthouse for his hail so Lulu Spencer could stay with Charlotte Cassadine. Still, Rocco didn't want to be near his pater. Until Dante forgave Gio, Rocco got worried when Dante said he could have a say-so when he wasn't breaking the law. To ease the pressure, Lulu transferred Rocco upstairs to change his shoes and also blamed Dante for being too tough on him. Upset Rocco might take on further blame for the break-in to irk his father, Lulu said she'd go with him to the courthouse rather. Outdoors, Charlotte told Nathan West that the police were wasting their time guarding the house since her father wouldn't come there. Danny arrived and Charlotte suggested at going on the run with her father again. Danny Morgan arrived because he and Charlotte were going to support Rocco at his judge meeting, but Nathan allowed. It was unwise for Hisco conspirators to attend. Latterly, Charlotte accidentally told Danny she wanted to help Rocco before leaving. When Danny asked where she was going, Charlotte made him promise to keep it secret and revealed she got a communication from Valentine to stay for him, which meant she might leave Port Charles. Still, she also participated that she wasn't sure if she wanted to leave. In the history, she only reckoned on her father, but now with her mama, Danny, and Rocco, she'd miss them if she left. Dante commended his worries in Nathan after Lulu and Rocco left. Dante told Nathan that if the hail didn't go well, he'd feel responsible. He explained how everything with Gio reminded Rocco of the resentment from when Dante left the family. Dante realized that indeed though he was doing the right thing, he didn't understand how important his absence hurt Rocco until lately. Now, Rocco was pushing him down, which upset him. Nathan suggested Dante go back to basics to ameliorate his relationship with Rocco and asked what he demanded to do to make effects better. Turner called Sunny to her office before Rocco's hail. Justine Turner called Sunny Corinthos to her office. She expressed her remorse about Rocco's situation at the detention center, especially since Professor Henry Dalton was missing and no bone could back up his claims. When she suggested that Sunny might be involved in Dalton's exposure, he suggested she concentrate on Willow Tate Kane's forthcoming tried murder trial and drop the charges against his grandson. Justine combated that it wasn't simple, as Rocco was also Mayor Collins's grandson. However, the press would charge them of corruption if it sounded like she was giving him special treatment. Rick stepped up for Rocco. He was doomed to community service. Rick Lansing heard their argument and went into Justine's office. She wanted him to convert Sunny that Rocco had broken the law. But Rick said without strong evidence, they would be locking up an innocent sprat, which he misdoubted Turner wanted for her career. Sunny was in Justine's office when Lulu and Rocco came in, reminding Rocco to be polite and regardful to the judge and not to argue. After coming back from the judge's chambers, Rick and Justine told everyone that Rocco's plea deal was moreover 30 days in jail or 500 hours of community service, with the amusement DA making the final call. They moved to Justine's office, where Rocco bravely admitted he was wrong to trespass and apologized for his conduct. Justine, impressed by his words, doomed Rocco to community service. Kevin crashed Sidwell and Laura's meeting. Sidwell asked Laura to meet at the Metro Court Garden, but she was worried he was showing her off intimately when Ezra Boyle was meant to be their middleman. Sidwell claimed their meeting was important because he was buying Sunny's peers and wanted Laura to support the trade at a press conference. Laura dithered, reminding him she opposed Measure C, but Sidwell twisted it, saying she opposed using prestigious sphere for the peers. He argued this was her way of supporting free enterprise and that she should take credit for the deal. Also, Kevin arrived and took a seat. Sidwell tried to make Kevin leave. Sidwell claimed they were having a private talk and tried to shoot Kevin down, but Laura's hubby wouldn't leave her with her blackmailer. When Jens dismissed Kevin's blameworthiness, Laura told him her hubby knew everything, which Sidwell said was unfortunate. He advised Kevin there would be consequences, not just political, if anyone obtruded with the deal he made with Laura. When Laura reminded him she agreed to the deal without having to deal with him directly, Sidwell scowled, saying it was a special occasion and she had no choice. Kevin advised Sidwell Laura could always call Sidwell's bluff. Kevin dissented, saying his woman could always call Sidwell's Baranka. He refocused out that there were limits Laura wouldn't cross, and if Sidwell pushed her, he'd support her if she chose to turn herself in. Sidwell appreciated Kevin's honesty and replied that he demanded Sunny and Laura, but not Dr. Collins. With a dramatic gesture, Sidwell prepared to leave, telling Laura he was eager for her press conference. Formerly alone, Laura advised her hubby not to defy Sidwell like that again. Jack called Jocelyn into the office. Jack Brennan told Jocelyn Jacks that the hunt for Valentine Cassadine was ongoing. But they demanded to reach out to his counsel, Barbara Saunders, for information on Sidwell and the 5 poppies. Jack misdoubted Barbara's actuality since she entered Steinmauer with a fake ID, and her spectacles had tech that blocked facial recognition. After Jack told Jocelyn to find out who Barbara really was, she said she'd start after visiting her mama. Jack wanted a full report, and Jocelyn fooled she'd modernize him on Carly's safety, but that was it. Jack called Britt and tried to influence her. Britt turned the tables. Jack also called Britt from a blocked number, averring she'd come to the WSB office. When she arrived, Jack informed her that the WSB was looking into Professor Dalton's exploration and knew he was participating data with someone at the 5 Poppies Resort, where she worked. With Dalton gone, Jack suspected that Sidwell and his platoon were obliging Britt. She tried to deny knowing Sidwell, but Jack revealed they knew she was involved with him. He anticipated her to give up her data, hanging to tell Sidwell she was with the WSB the whole time. Realizing she had influence since the WSB demanded her, Britt refused to hand over her data and claimed Jack reinstate her medical license in return for her help. Carly took a personal day from work since she didn't trust Valentine alone in her house. So she took a particular day from work. Valentine was unhappy cashing there, down from his son, and criticized Jack. As he poured himself coffee and cereal, he reminded Carly he transferred Charlotte back to Lulu because Brennan had betrayed him. Carly allowed. Charlotte was doing well in Port Charles, but Valentine claimed she demanded him, and he took his breakfast back to the garret. Latterly, Jocelyn came with an angel for her mama's tree from the Christmas request. She wanted to get into the vacation spirit and suggested a Christmas cookie party with Carly and Donna Corinthos that weekend. Read this: Anthony Geary dead at 78, beloved Luke Spencer on General Hospital, passes down. Carly convinced Joss that Valentine would want to see Charlotte, not her. Carly figured it was just a way for Joss to keep an eye on her since the man who tried to kill her was still out there. She said if Valentine went to Port Charles, he'd want to see Charlotte, not her. Jocelyn had to agree when Carly proposed incinerating and decorating Eiffels at her place. Once Jocelyn left, it was safe for Valentine to come down from the garret. Carly shocked about Donna's safety when the fugitive asked about her youngish son, but Valentine said the only one in peril was Brennan. Carly questioned the plan to get Joss out of the WSB and Jack out of their lives for good. Valentine explained what Jack was really after. Valentine explained that Jack wanted the illegal tech Sidwell was creating from Caesar Faison's work, and they demanded to ensure Brennan was held responsible once the design was revealed. Also, Jack would go to captivity for disloyalty. Carly was doubtful how they could make Jack take the blame for commodity he didn't do, but Valentine was confident Brennan would end up in trouble since he wanted the tech so much. And when he does, I'll be ready, Valentine said, seesawing his head.